So I thought I'd make a little video called A Day in the Life of a KFssi Foundation Plasma Dabbler, or maybe the Chronicles of Plasma instead of Chronicles of Narnia, something like that. Anyways, maybe because we've been doing a lot of videos on the individual processes, and I thought, well, maybe it's useful because we, you know, like each day there's like a set of processes that are partially underway, and so I just kind of do the next step. The next step at this point was to create an area that I could work with. So this would be formerly known as the office area, still partially. This part used to be books and CDs, and now it's the creation center for GaNs and other assorted things. So I'm trying different ideas to keep things warm. We're in the Pacific Northwest where it's maybe getting up to 50 some of the days and in the 30s and 40s at night already. So at least this little room does have a little space heater under there that I can turn on, but there's still other ways I've found to keep things a little bit warm. This is this copper oxide GaNs collection area, and I got a little $8 crock pot, and it has a keep warm setting, which is nice, from Goodwill. It still gets a little warm, I think. Like if I leave it on the keep warm setting, it'll get up to like 140 or something. So I end up turning it on and off and just kind of checking it by the little thermometer. Right now it's about 100. And I collected with my baster, I'd say a couple hours ago, and already it's already getting another residue down there. And I did a combination of things because I was running low on copper and nano-coated copper at that point I was putting this together. So there's a strip of the nano-coated. I made a coil out of another one. Anyways, it's working. And I alternate with some of the other buckets on putting the little air stone in there and turning it on. That comes from the little $5 fish pump. There we go. I'll get one of the little channels that will let me move it in different directions tomorrow probably. So here's a iron GaNs collector, and it seems to be collecting some. We started this today. I kept looking for a suitable piece of copper, and I ended up with a piece of a piece of iron. I ended up with a piece of an old barrel that's outside, and we sanded it down a bit, cleaned it up with a little vinegar and water, and hung it in there opposite the nano plate of copper, and it seems to be getting some GaNs down there. That was maybe 6 hours ago, so it looks like I could probably suction some of that off tonight or in the morning. And I'm keeping it in this container from the grocery store where you bring home your frozen goods. And wrapped around it is also a heating blanket. So I turn that on. It turns itself off, you know how heating blankets do. But every now and then I turn it on, and it seems to be keeping a pretty decent body temperature that way. Over here I have all of my bottles in various stages from when I suction out the GaNs out of these. I put them in one of these containers, and then I have a initial collection bottle, a first rinse, a second rinse, and a third rinse, because we have 4 different kinds of GaNs going and 2 of us playing with it, so that way we can tell where we're at in the process. And afterwards we'll go ahead and save some of it. The rinsing water, I've heard that it's useful. Not sure what for yet, but it will be here when I get that awareness. So the next shelf, I just keep a little distilled water to spray, a little caustic water to spray. Here's some aminos. This is the copper oxide. When it's getting ready to be dried, it comes a little bit at a time, very slow. That's from a day of collection there, after it's been rinsed 3 times, so it's waiting for some more to join it. There's some CO2 GaNs, and it comes a little bit faster. That one's already been rinsed and dried into a soupy mixture. And then over here we have going the brass. Oh, move out of the way, coils. We have one that's brass. I've got like a couple of faucet pipe connections that seem to be a lot of those in brass. Opposite of that, and I've been able to collect off of that already after about 24 hours. It's sitting up there. These guys have been nano coated. Looks like I probably need to clean, oops, no hands. I need to probably spray them off again with distilled water because there's a little more of the white, I guess, salt crystals on them. And soon we'll be able to dip them and wire them together. And I'm not sure which order to do that in, so I'll look that up. Luckily we have those awesome Facebook pages and everybody posts questions and answers. Love that. So here's the CO2 GaNs, and again I got the water bubbler on the nano copper side. There's a zinc plate on that side, and I just started that today again to get another one going, and it looks like it's doing pretty well. And I moved that air bubbler between the different containers. And up here is some of the brass GaNs that is settling out. I'll suction it out of the collection bucket, you know, just kind of go back and forth on the bottom of it, sucking it out carefully, what's collected, and I'll put it in a container, let it sit here overnight, or even just for a few hours and settle. And you can see there's the powder on the bottom that I assume, or the gel that's the GaNs, and then all this liquid on top. It's getting pretty clear. Probably another hour or two before bed I'll go ahead and suction out all the liquid out of here, put it into a container, and then I'll add some distilled water in there, shake it up, and then put it in bottle number 1 that says it's undergoing its first rinse. And then I do that repeatedly to the different bottles, 2 and 3. That way when I leave and go to work, then Linda can see where I'm at and carry on with the project. Always have a little bit of wine and a little Mozart going. And this is the copper oxide going through the same process. It's just about settled. I think I'll be ready to do those here in a bit. And these are some that we collected and dried the last few days. The copper oxide, it's gotten, that was the first one I did with the D-cell battery, and it got good and rusty. Here's some that we dried a little too long, and it looks like powder, which is fine because I've heard that that's useful at some stage, although I'm not sure what for yet. And here's the first generation of the copper GaNs. It was, yeah, let me get a little more light. Like I said, it comes slow. That's like a whole day of collection after 3 rinsing processes. Not a heck of a lot, but I understand that patience is a virtue with this, so we will sip some wine and move on. I found this really nice little corner shelf that's, I think, will be great to sit our stacker in. Found that at Goodwill too. And little collection boxes, and then down there I have some distilled water and our pure awesome well water for use as needed. Of course, some gloves. What else? Oh, I've got a caustic process going on, but it's in another room and covered with a heated blanket, you know, like the kind that you buy for your bed. Trying to keep it warm. Where I've tried to hot caustic coat some copper foil that we had. So we'll see how that goes. So, y'all have fun and happy GaNs collecting. Enjoy yourself, smile a lot, be silly, and take it all as lightly as possible. We're all just playing here and learning. Thank you.